All right, guys. Getting it late tonight. Long day, long Sunday. Had an early church and a long day, man. So we're ready to rock. Picking up at Genesis. Look at me. Exodus 16. All right, let's rock and roll. Manna and quail from heaven. The whole community of Israel set out from Elim and journeyed to the wilderness of Sin. Not off to a good start. All right. Oh hell yeah, we're 6%. We're 6% of the way there. Only 64 and a half hours left. Hell yeah. Let's make sure audio is going through. Yep. That's probably loud as hell. I apologize. All right. The wilderness of Sin between Elim and Mount Sinai. They arrived there on the 15th day of the second month, 1 month after leaving Egypt. There, too, the whole community of Israel complained about Moses and Aaron. If only the Lord had killed us back in Egypt, they moaned. Jesus Christ. There we sat around pots filled with meat and ate all the bread we wanted, but now you have brought us into these woods and starved us to death. And then the Lord said to Moses, Look, I'm going to rain down food from heaven for you. What a bunch of bitches. Each day the people can go out and pick up as much food as they need for the day. I will test them to see whether or not they're going to follow my instructions. On the sixth day they're going to gather food, and when they prepare it, there's going to be twice as much as usual. Okay, so Moses and Aaron said to all the people, By evening you will realize it was the Lord who has brought you out of Egypt. In the morning you're going to see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your complaints, which are against him, not against us. What have we done that you should complain about us? And Moses added, The Lord will give you meat to eat in the evening and bread to satisfy you in the morning, for he has heard all of your complaints against him. What have we done? Yes, your complaints are against the Lord, not us. So Moses is going about this all wrong, in my opinion. This is not a good leadership. This is not not example of good leadership here. But anywho, not a Bible study. Then Moses and Aaron said, Announce this to the entire community of Israel. Present yourselves before the Lord, for he has heard your complaining. They've said complaining quite a few times now. And as Aaron spoke to the whole community of Israel, they looked out towards the wilderness. They could see the awesome glory of the Lord in the cloud. Then the Lord said to Moses, I have heard the Israelites' complaints. Now tell them in the evening they will have meat to eat, and in the morning you're going to have all the bread you want. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God. And that evening a vast number of quail flew, and they covered the camp. And the next morning the area around the camp was wet with dew. When the dew evaporated, a flaky substance as fine as frost blanketed the ground. Frosted flakes? The Israelites were puzzled when they saw it. What is it? They asked. They had no idea what it was. Do you think Jewish people made frosted flakes? Anyway. And Moses told him, It is the food the Lord has given you to eat. These are the Lord's instructions. Each household must gather as much food as it needs. Pick up 2 quarts for each person in your tent. So the people of Israel did as they were told. Some gathered a lot, some only a little. But when they measured it out, everyone had just enough. So those who gathered a lot had nothing left over, and those who gathered only a little had enough. Each family had just what it needed. Moses told them, Do not keep any of it until morning. But some of them didn't listen, and they kept some of it until morning. But by then it was full of maggots and had a terrible smell. Moses was very angry with them. After this, the people gathered food in the morning, gathered the food morning by morning, each family according to its need. And as the sun became hot, the flakes they had picked up melted and disappeared. On the 6th day, they gathered twice as much as usual, 4 quarts for each person instead of 2. Then all the leaders of the community came and asked Moses for an explanation. He told them, This is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow will be a day of complete rest, a holy Sabbath day set apart for the Lord. So bake or boil as much as you want today, and set aside what is left for tomorrow. So they put some aside until morning, just as Moses had said. And in the morning the leftover food was wholesome and good, without maggots and no odor. Moses said, Eat this food today, for today is a Sabbath day dedicated to the Lord. There will be no food on the ground today. You may gather the food for 6 days, but the 7th day is the Sabbath. So this is such an easy thing we're asking them to do here. I just know it's not going to work. I know that there's no way they can do something that's this easy. I don't know why I'm getting this vibe, but I have a feeling this is going to be way too complicated for them. So anyway, and what do you know? Next paragraph. Some of the people went out anyway on the 7th day, but they found no food. Wow. Then the Lord asked Moses, How long will these people refuse to obey my commands and instructions? At the beginning, I was thinking Moses was dumb. Then I realized okay, maybe Moses isn't done. Maybe God sees something that I don't. But now I'm starting to have real questions because what is he asking Moses, who we've already established is not smart? He's a very dumb guy, and so now you're asking him about everybody else. What's going on, bro? This is very confusing. Anyway, how long will these people refuse? Okay, they must realize that the Sabbath is the Lord's gift to you. That's why he gives you. Who is talking? The Lord asked Moses, how long will these people refuse to obey my commands? They must realize that the Sabbath is the Lord's gift to you. Then why is it he gives you a 2-day supply on the 6th day, so there will be enough for 2 days? On the Sabbath day, you must each stay in your place. Do not go out and pick up food. So people did not gather any food on the 7th day. The Israelites called the food manna. It was white like coriander seed, and it tasted like honey wafers. And then Moses said, they must have created frosted flakes. That's frosted flakes, what they just described. Then Moses said, this is what the Lord has commanded. Fill the 2-quart container with manna, frosted flakes, and preserve it for your descendants. Then the later generations will be able to see the food I gave you in the wilderness when I set you free in Egypt. So basically, pick up a bunch of frosted flakes. No one's going to believe this shit. Moses said to Aaron, get a jar and fill it with 2 quarts of manna, then put it in a sacred place before the Lord to preserve it all for future generations. Aaron did just as the Lord had commanded. That's not common. And he eventually placed it in the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, where's that? What? Huh? Spoilers? What is this teaser? In front of the stone tablets transcribed with the terms of the covenant. So the people of Israel ate manna for 40 years until they arrived at the land where they were settled. They ate manna until they came to the Lord. Huh? What the hell is Exodus 16? The container they used to measure the manna was an omar, which is 1/10 of an ephah. Oh, okay. Sick. Had about 2 quarts. So the geographical name Sin is related to Sinai, so it's sign. Now because you can use the word sin. I see. Yeah, exactly. It's a great call out. A little late, but great. The Exodus occurred on the 5th. Okay, Hebrew. Oh God, numbers. Numbers is coming. Hebrew measured it with Omar. Hebrew 2 Omars. Manna means what is it? Hebrew is a place. Okay. When I was a kid, I had a neighbor and they named their dog Little Lost Dog because they found them. That's the same level of high order thinking that naming it what is it is. Whatever. Exodus 17. Water from the rock. At the Lord's command, the whole community of Israel left the wilderness of Sin, and they moved from place to place. Eventually they kept at Red Pill, but there was no water for their people to drink. So once more the people complained against Moses. Give us water to drink, they demanded. Quiet, Moses replied. Why are you complaining against me? Why are you testing the Lord? But tormented by thirst, they continued to argue with Moses. Why did you... Oh, God, here we go again. Why did you bring us out of Egypt? Are you trying to kill us, our children, with our livestock? Then Moses cried out to the Lord, what should I do with these people? They're ready to stone me. The Lord said to Moses, walk out in front of them, take your staff, call the elders of Israel to join you. I'm going to stand before you in the rock of Mount Sinai and strike that rock. Water will start gushing out, and then the people will be able to drink. So Moses struck the rock as he was told. I feel like they could just add. Maybe not. I don't know. So Moses struck the rock as he was told. The water gushed out. The elders looked on. Oh, okay. They better not be distracted, is my point. Moses named the place Massah, which means test, and Meribah, which means arguing, because the people of Israel argued with Moses and tested the Lord. Okay. Israel defeats the Amalekites. While the people of Israel were still at Red Pill, the warriors of Amalek attacked, so they got attacked. All right, Moses commanded Joshua, choose some good men and go out and fight for us. Tomorrow I'm going to stand on top of that hill. Oh, I know this story. So Joshua did what Moses commanded, and they fought the army. Meanwhile, Moses, Aaron, and Hur climbed to the top of a nearby hill. As long as Moses held up a staff in his hand, the Israelites had the advantage. Whenever he dropped his hands, the Amalekites gained the advantage. I'm seeing how long I can hold my arms for. Moses' arms soon became tired. He could no longer hold them up. So Aaron and Hur found a stone to sit him on, and they stood on each side of Moses, holding up his hands. So his hands held steady until sunset. As a result, Joshua overwhelmed the army of Amalek in battle. After the victory, the Lord instructed Moses, write this down on a scroll as a permanent reminder, and read it aloud to Joshua. I will erase the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Moses built an altar there and named it Yahweh Nisa, which means the Lord is my banner. He said they have raised their first generation against the Lord's throne, raised their fist against the Lord's throne. So now the Lord will be at war with Amalek generation after generation. Huh? See, these are the narrative issues. I don't know. This is not a Bible study. This is a reaction, and I do think narrative issues are worth talking about. I'm not really worried about what God's trying to tell me just yet because we're just getting started. But like the overall narrative flow of this book is questionable. I don't understand. I'm sure there's something to it. I'm not the first person to notice this, but there are some narrative discrepancies here. Like, what's up with all this talking about complaining? And then we get to this crazy war with like God, Moses is whatever, and it's like one not even 12 line. Anyway, narrative discrepancies. Okay, Exodus 18, Jethro's visit to Moses. Moses' father-in-law Jethro, a priest of Midian, heard about everything that God had done for Moses and his people. He heard especially about how the Lord had rescued them from Egypt. Earlier, Moses sent his wife Zipporah and his 2 sons back to Jethro, who had taken them in. Moses' first son was named Gershom. It's probably the first time we talk about him, huh? Moses said when the boy was born... No, I remember that. I remember the name. Foreigner in a foreign land. His second son was named Eleazar. For Moses said, the God of my ancestors was my helper. He rescued me from the sword of Pharaoh. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, now came to visit Moses in the wilderness. He brought Moses, his wife, and his 2 sons with him. They arrived while Moses and his people were camped near the mountain of God. Jethro sent a message to Moses, saying, I am your father-in-law, and I'm coming to see you with your people. So Moses went out to meet him. He bowed low and he kissed him, and they asked about each other's welfare, and they went into Moses' tent. Moses told his father-in-law everything the Lord had done to Pharaoh in Egypt on behalf of Israel. He also told about all the hardships they had experienced along the way, and how the Lord had rescued his people from all their troubles. Jethro was delighted when he heard about all the good things the Lord had done for Israel, as he rescued them from the hand of the Egyptians. Praise the Lord, Jethro said, for he has rescued you from the Egyptians and from Pharaoh. Yes, he has rescued Israel from the powerful hand of Egypt. I know now that the Lord is greater than all other gods, because he rescued his people from oppression of the proud Egyptians. And then Jethro brought a burnt offering and sacrifices to God. Aaron and all the elders came out and joined him in a sacrificial meal in God's presence. That was probably pretty lit. Jethro's wise advice. The next day, Moses took his seat to hear the people's disputes against each other. They waited before him from morning till evening. When Moses' father-in-law saw that Moses was doing the help for the people, he asked, what are you really accomplishing here? Why are you trying to do all this alone while everyone's changing around you from morning? It was a great point. Moses is a terrible leader. Moses is not a smart guy. I don't know if I'm the first. I've never heard anybody say this, but Moses is retarded. It's clear. Moses replied, because the people come to me to get a ruling from God. When a dispute arises, they come to me, and I'm the one who settles the case between the quarreling parties. I inform the people of God's decrees, and I give them instructions. This is not good, Moses. You're going to wear yourself out, and the people too. This job was too heavy a burden for you to handle by yourself, and now listen to me. Let me give you a word of advice, and may God be with you. You should continue to be the people's representative before God, teach them God's decrees, and give them instructions, show them how to conduct their lives. But select from all the people some capable, honest men who fear God and hate bribes. Appoint them as leaders over the groups of 1,000 and 150 and 10. Then you should be able to solve the problems of people's common disputes, but have them bring the major cases to you. Let the leaders decide the smaller matters themselves. They will help you and carry the load, making the tasks easier for you. If you follow this advice, and if God commands you to do so, then you will be able to endure the pressures, and all the people will go home in peace. Moses listened to his father-in-law's advice, and he followed his suggestion. He chose capable men from all over Israel, and he appointed them as leaders over the people. He put them in charge of groups 1,000, 150, and 10. These men were always available to solve the people's common disputes, and they brought the major cases to Moses, but they took care of the smaller matters themselves. Soon after this, Moses said goodbye to his father-in-law, who returned to his own land. You see, that isn't as big brain. It might seem like that's wise advice, hence the title, wise advice, but this is not wise advice. This is like, hey, dude, why are you driving with your elbows? You realize you have hands. Like, it should be the case that a person, I don't know, it should be easier. I don't know. I'm upset with Moses and how dumb he is. I'm really unimpressed by Moses. The Lord reveals himself at Sinai. Me. Anyway, exactly 2 months after the Israelites left Egypt, they arrived in the wilderness of Sinai. After breaking camp at Red Pill, they had come to the wilderness of Sinai and set up a camp at the base of Mount Sinai. And then Moses climbed to the top of the mountain before God. The Lord called to him from the mountain, and he said, give these instructions to the family of Jacob. Announce it to the descendants of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians. You know how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you will obey me and keep my covenant, you will be my own special treasure from among all the peoples on earth, for all the earth belongs to me. And you will be my kingdom of priests, my holy nation. This is a message you must give to all the people of Israel. So Moses returned to the mountain, and he called together the elders of all the people, and he told them what God said. All the people responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has commanded." So Moses brought the people's answers back to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, notice a lot of intercession here. I will come back. I will come to you in a thick cloud, Moses, so the people themselves can hear me speak when I speak with you. They will always trust you. Then, if they see that cap, I bet they won't. Moses told the Lord what the people said. And the Lord told Moses, "Go down and prepare the people for my arrival. Consecrate them today and tomorrow, and have them wash their clothes. Be sure they are ready on the third day, for that's the day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai, and all the people are going to watch. Mark off a boundary all around the mountain and warn the people. Be careful. Do not go up on the mountain or even touch its boundaries. Anyone who touches that shit's going to be put to death. No hand may touch a person or animal that crossed the boundary. Instead, stone them or shoot them with arrows. They must be put to death. However, when the ram's horn sounds a long blast, then my people may go up the mountain." So Moses went down, he consecrated them, washed their stuff, told them, "Get ready for the third day, abstain from having sexual intercourse." I don't remember God saying that, but whatever, Moses. On the morning of the third day, thunder roared and lightning flashed, and a dense cloud came down on the mountain. There was a long, loud blast from a ram's horn. Then all the people trembled. Moses led them out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. All of Sinai was covered with smoke because of the Lord. Smoke billowed into the sky from a brick kiln, and the whole mountain shook violently. Now we're talking. This is cool. Smoke billowed into the sky like smoke from a brick kiln, and the whole mountain shook violently. As the blast of the ram's horn grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God thundered his reply. The Lord came down to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountains. So Moses climbed to the mountain. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go back down and warn the people not to break through the boundaries to see the Lord, or they're going to die. Even the priests who regularly come near the Lord must purify themselves, so that the Lord not break out and destroy them." "But Lord," Moses protested, "the people cannot come up here. You already warned us. You told me, walk off a boundary." But the Lord God said, "Go down and bring Aaron back up with you. In the meantime, do not let the priests or people break through the approach to the Lord, or he will break out and destroy them." So Moses went down. Like Moses, he's God, and he's telling you, hey, before... This is it. That's another example. Like, this is it's very upsetting. I don't know why I'm taking this so personal. I think it's because I'm just jealous. Anyway, 10 Commandments for the covenant community. And then God gave the people all these instructions. Okay, I'm the Lord of God. You must not have any God before me. You must not make an idol. You must not misuse the name of the Lord. Remember to observe the Sabbath. Honor your father and mother. No murder. No adultery. Don't steal. Bear false witness. You can't covet your neighbor's house or wife. Male or female, servant, ox, donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. When the people heard the thunder and the loud blast of the ram's horn, when they saw the flashes of lightning, stood at a distance trembling with fear, and they said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen. But don't let God speak directly to us, or we will die." "Don't be afraid," Moses answered them, "for God has come in this way to test you, so that your fear of him will keep you from sinning." As soon as the people stood in the distance, Moses approached the dark cloud where God was. Proper use of altars. And the Lord said to Moses, "Say this to the people of Israel. You saw for yourselves that I spoke to you from heaven. Remember, you must not take idols of silver or gold to rival me. Build for me an altar made of earth and offer your sacrifices, your burnt offerings, your peace offerings, your sheep and goat and your cattle. Build my altar wherever I cause my name to be remembered, and I will come to you and bless you. If you use stones to build my altar, use only natural uncut stones. Do not shape them, for that would make them unfit for holy use. And do not approach my altar by going up the steps. If you do, someone might look up under your clothing and see your nakedness." What is going on? Alright, guys. Yeah. A lot of weirdness in the Bible, bro. A lot of narrative discrepancies. A lot of questionable narrative decisions. Anyway, that's all for tonight. That's enough for me. We'll be back tomorrow.